Hello, and today we are doing predictions for matchday number 19 of the 2020 to 21 Premier League season. After this week, we are exactly halfway through the season, and it's a very, very juicy game to be watching this week. Liverpool versus Manchester United, the title decider. Now, I'm joking. It's halfway, but it could play a big role, and it's a double game week, which means we've got added fixtures to get our teeth into. So let's get excited for this game week, and get your score predictions down below. Would really appreciate it, and I'll score how many you get. Obviously, the scoring system: 3 points for a correct result, 5 points for the result and the goal difference. So say if you said a 1-0 and it was 2-1, you'd get the 5 points there, and also 8 points for the correct scoreline. So let's get into it. But before we do, what is the song of the week? It would help if I didn't drop everything. Sorry about that. No, the song of the week for game week number 19 is going to be Jet Plane Headed Up to the Sky. Spread wings and the clouds getting high. Whoop, whoop, we ain't hit a rave in a while. So take me back to London. This high middle night sitting low. Sweat brow dripping down when it roll. No town does it quite like my home. So take me back to London. What a tune. It is a quality tune with Stormzy, Ed Sheeran, and also with the legendary rapper that is called, if I remember his name, I can't believe I blanked. What am I doing? I've forgotten. What am I doing? Alright. Anyway, the main thing is, the theme of the week is London. Ding dong. Big Ben, red double-decker buses, and of course, a classic cup of tea. It's all things British this week, all things London. That is the theme of the week. But what is the colour of the week? Well, it's British as well. It's red. That is the colour, and the song you've just heard. So let's get into it. Let's get amongst it. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to do really. No, let's get straight in. So the first thing to say is that I've updated the leaderboard. The leaderboard for the Predictions League. And how many points did I score in game week 17? Well, there was only 6 games, but I scored myself 6 points. Not too shabby, we don't mind it. And you know what I've just realised? I've just actually realised something. Hang on. Wait a sec. Alright. I'm just trying to work this out. Yeah, so... Wait. Hang on a sec. Do you know why? Because the song of the week is matching the theme of the week. We've done it. We've eventually done it. But no, going back to the scoreboard and the leaderboard for the game week predictions and the prediction league, I scored 6 points from 6 games. Pretty poor. But it was a few shocks this week with draws for Fulham and Spurs. And also, it was a very shocking result for Newcastle United. They would not have been expecting a loss, although the bookies' favourites were the Blades. Sheffield United, well done. The first win. Can they survive? They're only 3 points off West Brom, but it's a long way to go, of course. And it's a long way to go for Manchester United, but they are, as it stands, top of the table. So they've got a stern test at Anfield to try and stay above the rest of the chasing pack. But let's get into this week. Douglas scored 11 points last week. Well done, son. So, what does that mean for the Predictions League standings? Well, in 4th place, with a score, overall points of 8, still Jack. Jack, mate, if you want to comment your predictions, feel free for this week. Your normal predictions, of course, and I'll see how you do. Then, in 3rd place is Nathan Heaver with 9 points. But who is in top? So in second, with a score of 314 points is Douglas. Well, mate, you're climbing. You're climbing. You closed the gap now, and I'm starting to feel a bit of sweat on my collar. But no, there's still a sizable gap, but you're on 314 points, and I'm still top with 362. So let's get into match day number... Oh, I've just deleted something. Sorry. Match day number 19's predictions, and the first game to predict is going to be Wolverhampton Wanderers against West Bromwich Albion. And this is an interesting one, isn't it? A big derby, and you never know how these sort of games go, really, because a lot of it is about, body on the line, really giving your all. Is there going to be a shock result here? Because West Brom, they've shown some fight recently, especially away from home, getting points at Liverpool and Manchester City. I mean, they got knocked out in the Cup, which was a bit embarrassing from Big Sam's point of view, but it's a big game against Wolves. They'll want to go there and get something, but I don't think they will. I think it'll be a tight affair, though. So I'm going to predict Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. But Liverpool Man United is not the only fierce rivalry this week. The Black Country Derby, they call it, back for the first time in 9 years since West Brom's promotion. And obviously the Baggies did win their last head-to-head at Molineux by 5-1. So, yeah, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked if that happened again, because West Brom have been really low on confidence. But Wolves are an established Premier League team. They have been a bit up and down this season, struggling without Raul Jimenez, but they're still a good side, and I think they'll be good to win this game. So in this 2-1 victory to Wolves, I'll say there'll be goals, first of all, from Pedro Neto, and then Romain Saiss gets a goal, and then the consolation at the end, I reckon, will be the defender that goes by the name of Ajayi. Now, he's been actually quite a good threat for West Brom from corners. I mean, to be fair, Wolves are one of the teams that have actually been the worst defensively on set pieces, and Ajayi, as I said, have scored quite a few goals. So I think he's going to be getting a goal, and I've got him in draft. So, for the FPL terms, that's good. The next game to predict, though, is going to be Leeds against Brighton. And again, this is a tough one to call, because Brighton on their day cannot be that bad, but I still think Leeds are favourites. Leeds have been a team really exciting to watch this season. They haven't really prioritised defending, but, if you like that style, then fair play. Now, Brighton centre-back Ben White is interestingly facing his old side. He returns to the ground that he got promoted at with the Championship club last season, Leeds United. Can he stay solid and help the Seagulls get a good, really good result if they can do it, with the likes of Arsenal and the likes of Man City not being able to get a win at Elland Road. It's a really tough match, though, you've got to say, in Yorkshire, and I'm afraid that the screen once again is frozen. I'm not sure why that's done that, but we'll just hope that comes back in a second. But yeah, it's a really tough game for Brighton, so I'm going to go with the Leeds win, and I'm going to go for a comfortable one. Leeds United 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. And goal scorers in the game, well, I think, the likes of Stuart Dallas has got quite good attacking threat, and we know Brighton also struggle with set pieces. So I've got, I think Dallas will score in this game, and he's got the aerial threat. I've also got him in draft, not in my actual team, but we'll talk about more of that on Saturday's FPL video. So he's going to get the first goal, and then the next goal in the game, I reckon, will come from Rafinha. Very good talent they bought this summer. So that is the 2 goals for the home side, and then we move on to, I say that, but Leeds are actually quite bad teams from set pieces also, so it could be interesting. The likes of Webster flying in with a header. But now we move on. I've also got Webster in draft as well, just to top it off. You never know. Now it's a game, though, between, of course, who is next? It's West Ham against Burnley. Now, you've got to fancy West Ham here. Burnley have had a really tough season. I mean, defensively in the last 5 or 6 games, Pope's kept about 3 clean sheets, which is pretty impressive. But you always feel with Burnley, they just tend to lose 1-0 and they tend to lose 2-1. They just don't really have that attacking quality they had previous seasons, which has kept them to be a mid-table team. But, I think they need to get the likes of Wood and Barnes scoring, but they could do it against a West Ham team that have been pretty good this season, but they've been up and down at times. They got the narrow win against Everton last time. I think they'll get the win here, though, because Burnley just going forward, maybe the likes of Ashley Barnes could do well, but defensively, West Ham can, on their day, be quite good with the likes of Kufau and Cresswell and Ogbonna protecting that back line. And whether Fabianski will be back for this game is yet to be seen. He's apparently back in training, but he might still be slightly injured. So we'll also say with a West Ham clean sheet, and we'll go with West Ham 3, Burnley 0. And goal scorers in this game, I think Michael Antonio is back from his injury and he's probably gunning to go. So I think he'll score against Burnley the first goal. Then the next goal, I'll go for Thomas Souček. He's been in such good form, and as I mentioned, Cresswell, very, very good as well. So he'll get the third for West Ham. Now we've got a game, it's a London derby. Apologies again for the frozen screen, but you've at least got the audio, so yeah, that's the way it goes. It's a London derby between Fulham and Chelsea. Now, interestingly enough, there has actually been quite a few times where I've seen Fulham this season, and I think they've actually played quite well, and they actually, for once, got their reward against Tottenham. Very, very good goal. The work from Lookman off the bench, really, really good. Great ball in, and Caballero with a towering header. No chance for Hugo Lloris there. So I think Fulham can go into this hoping for a bit more of that kind of fight. Have we got the screen back, maybe? I thought just for a second there, it seemed to have come back with us, but it's still frozen. But this is a West London derby, so it's going to be fierce. It's not obviously the fiercest West London derby in the capital, but it's still one that's going to be interesting to watch, and maybe it's slightly one-sided because Chelsea have actually won their last 5 head-to-heads and haven't lost to Fulham since 2006, so it's been a long wait for the Cottagers, and I don't think that will end here. I'll go for a resounding Chelsea win, Fulham 0, Chelsea 4. This is, of course, the rearranged game that was due to take place on Friday, but with the game for Fulham on the Wednesday against Spurs, they had to play this as the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. So we'll say a 4-0 Chelsea win with goals from, first of all, I've got a feeling Tammy Abraham's going to start and do well in this game. 2 goals from that striker. And then the next goal in the game, let's go for a goal from Thiago Silva. I think Chelsea defensively are quite good scoring from set pieces. And then we will go with who's going to be the last goal scorer. Let's say Mason Mount. All right, now we've got a game that is between Leicester and Southampton. Tight game, this one, but I'm going to go with a draw because I think Southampton have been obviously not in action because of the FA Cup, and then they didn't have a game midweek, and Danny Ings apparently has got coronavirus, so he's not going to play this game. But they do have Che Adams possibly back. How fit he'll be is a question. But they've still got defensive solidity. They're probably going to have McCarthy back. And they've still got Vestergaard, who's coming back, I think, next week. So, yeah, there's certainly things on the up for Southampton. Leicester have been a very good team to watch this season. And with the likes of Vardy and Maddison all getting a rest in midweek, I think that they will be firing and ready to go. But as I said, I think both teams will see it out as a draw. And, it's an England striker showdown, really, with Che Adams and Jamie Vardy up against each other. The Foxes' goal machine just pipped the other Southampton forward, Danny Ings, who won't be playing this game, to the Golden Boot, of course, in last season. So, unfortunately, Ings can't get some revenge for that. But also, the likes of Maddison, the likes of Harvey Barnes, and Ward-Prowse will all be big England threats as well. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a 1-1 with goals coming from James Maddison, and I also think there'll be a goal from Jan Bednarek, because Leicester have also been a team quite bad at set pieces. Right, let's move on to the next one. That is going to be, of course, a matchup between Man City and Aston Villa. Now, I'm actually going to go with a Man City win. Now, with this game, Villa was supposed to be kicking off Game Week 19 with a matchup with Everton, but they got postponed, and now Villa have got 2 games against Man City and Newcastle. It's a tough game for Man City because Villa have been a side that's beaten big sides this season. Liverpool got wins against Arsenal, so I think Villa will really go for this. It's how much of their squad has really been affected by that COVID outbreak, but we'll see. Finally, the screen is back. We got the result in the end, but I think Man City will get the result in the end. They haven't been spectacular, but still pretty good. And I think it'll be a 1-0 Manchester City win with the only goal coming from Man City's only real midfield threat. It is Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, now we've got a game between Fulham and Manchester United. Tough game for the Cottagers, it's got to be said. But I'm going to lean towards a Man United win. They've been doing so well, and they really want to get a result. Hang on, I've completely skipped it. All right, forget you heard that Man City at Villa game. Where were we? We were at Leicester against Southampton. Deary me. Okay, rewind. Now we've got the camera back, we can actually kick off properly. Right, we've done the Southampton game. Now it's Sheffield United against Tottenham. Apologies. Now the Blades have actually been a bit of a bogey team for Spurs in the last few games, with them beating them 3-1 in this fixture last season. I do remember there was an absolute tap-in for Lise Mousset, poor Tottenham defending, and admittedly a controversial disallowed goal with Lucas Moura handballing it when he got smacked in the face. And got pushed over. But no, the point is they beat them 3-1, and in the reverse fixture at Tottenham, it was 1-1. That was the game, of course, Mauricio Pochettino lost his job, and he's now at PSG, of course. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. But I think on the day, Sheffield United will once again be blunt, and I think Spurs will once again be good on the break. So 2-0 to Tottenham. Who am I going to say is going to get the goals, though? That's a tough one. Let's say Ndombele. I think he has deserved more goals. And we'll also say a goal from the centre-back known as Toby Alderweireld. Now we've got a match-up between Liverpool and Manchester United. It's the one we've all been waiting for. It's a big rivalry, mega battle between the two. It's the sort of game you just don't want to miss. You really want to watch this on Sunday. And Man United can always feel like they can match their eternal enemies, but they haven't actually been able to win at Anfield since 2016, when there was a goal from a Wayne Rooney penalty. And talking of Wayne Rooney, he's announced his obviously his retirement now as a player. He's moving on to be a manager. So salute you, Wayne. You've had a great time of it. And obviously last year's game, it was a 2-0 win with goals from Van Dijk and Salah. With a last-minute goal, Salah ripping off the shirt. And that was the moment people thought, Liverpool, you're going to win the league. But it's a different season. It's so much unpredictable results. And who knows, if Man United can get a win, just shows it could be a different story this term. But I'm going to go with the Liverpool one because they are strong at Anfield. And I think they're just going to be the better team on the day. So Liverpool 3, Manchester United 1. With goals coming on the day, first of all from, I think, Mohamed Salah. He's a big game player. But I think United will actually equalise, and it'll be through an unlikely source in the fact that he's not had many game time for the Red Devils, but he's looked pretty good. It's Edinson Cavani. And then Liverpool stretch ahead with goals from Sadio Mane. And then the third goal for Liverpool comes from Andy Robertson. Now we've got a game between Man City and Crystal Palace. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got this game to predict now. And in the past two campaigns, Palace have actually been City's bogey side at the Etihad, because Eagles secured a 3-2 win with an absolute screamer from Townsend. Going forward, though, I don't think Palace are the same this season. They've struggled, and without Zaha, they've really struggled. Zaha was a bit agitated, you could see, on Thursday night against Arsenal. There was a bit of a thing there, but really, I think Palace don't have a hope here. Man City have been the best defence in the league, and they've been getting wins, not spectacularly, but they've been getting them. So I'll go with a bit more of a comprehensive win, just because we know that when they concede a couple, and when they concede the first goal, Palace can crumble, like we saw in their game with Liverpool. So Man City 3, Palace 0. This is despite their very stubborn performance against Arsenal, but I just think that was a game where Arsenal couldn't break them down, and they really missed the creativity of Tierney. But Man City this time have got so much creativity with Diaz, Cancelo, De Bruyne. So 3-0 to the Citizens with goals from that man Diaz, that man De Bruyne, and the third from John Stones. And now we've got a match-up between Arsenal and Newcastle United, and they only recently met in the FA Cup in this game. Arsenal obviously have had a few Monday night fixtures recently, and they've got another one against Newcastle. And it's been a decade since, over a decade I should say, since the Magpies actually beat Arsenal on their own patch, which is a really, really shocking run. Newcastle fans will be absolutely, gutted about that game against Sheffield United. They really should have won that. You just think they got to be getting more goals, and they've just not really got much of a threat. They play it down the channels for Wilson, but that's basically all they've got. So they need to really fight back. But Arsenal at home, maybe they'll be the stronger team. Newcastle failed to score at the Emirates on their last 3 Premier League visits also. So the omens definitely aren't good for the Magpies. But I think Arsenal will get a comfortable win. It's just the score might not reflect that. So I'll say 1-0 to the Gunners. And who am I going to say is going to get the winning goal for the home side? I don't know, but I've got a feeling Aubameyang is going to be back in form with a wonderful header to secure the points for the Gunners. Now we've got West Ham taking on West Brom. A classic clash of the Wests. And, this is a very interesting game because West Brom have to be targeting a win. West Ham, though, I just think are stronger. So I think what West Brom will do is they'll commit themselves, go for it, and leave themselves exposed. So 4-0 to West Ham is what I'm going to go with. And goals in this game, let's say another goal from Antonio because he is a bit deadly. And then we'll go for a goal from Fornals. And then the third goal in the match, we'll say, comes from the centre-back, Angelo Ogbonna. And the fourth goal for West Ham from the fullback, known as Kufal, Vladimir Kufal. And now we've got Leicester against Chelsea. This is a tight game, I think. This is going to be exciting because Leicester have been quite a good team against the big sides this season. They've pushed them all the way, certainly. And we saw with that Man United game, they can really fight back after being behind. Leicester, obviously, have been very good this season, whereas Chelsea defensively have been a bit of a struggle in the last few matches. But this could change with this game, and certainly with the Fulham game for Chelsea. But I feel that it'll be a contested one, and neither side will really want the point, but that's what they'll get. 1-1 here, with goals coming from, first of all, I think there'll be a goal for Leicester that's scored by Yuri Tielemans, the Belgian international, and for Chelsea, there'll be a goal from, let's say, Christian Pulisic. Now we've got a match-up between Manchester City and Aston Villa, and we've come back to it, basically. It is going to be 1-0, as I said, and it is going to be a goal from Kevin De Bruyne, as I mentioned. Now it's Fulham against Manchester United, and this is the time where we're going to go with a 3-1 Man United win. I think Fulham put up a fight against Spurs, and maybe they should have got more than a win, but I think Man United are just too good this season. So I think Fulham will actually score the first goal, though. So fair play to them, and it will be through, of course, Lookman. But Man United get goals from, first of all, Edinson Cavani, again. Then a goal, a classic penalty from Bruno Fernandes. And then I think they'll be basically finishing it off in style with a goal from the Manchester United defender, known as Harry Maguire, who was unlucky to get a goal disallowed at Turf Moor on Tuesday. And we've got 2 games more just to wrap up this predictions video. It's Liverpool versus Burnley and Villa versus Newcastle. And in this Liverpool game, you got to fancy a Liverpool win. Simple as that. At Anfield, they've been pretty hard to stop. And Burnley, they might put a defensive, front on. They might stop them from playing their usual way, like we saw against West Brom. They did at Anfield. But I think Liverpool have enough quality on the day to cut through it. So we'll say 2-0 to Liverpool. And the goals come from, first of all, let's say a goal from the centre-back that it goes by the name of Joel Matip. And then the second goal for Liverpool will be scored by the midfielder, Jorginho Wijnaldum. And finally, we've got a game between Villa and Newcastle United. And this is a rearranged game, of course. It kicks off on the 23rd, which is, I'm pretty sure, the FA Cup weekend. And I'm going to go with a slender Villa win because Villa haven't been playing too much action. Their thought is that they'll be back in time for that Man City match, and I think they'll lose that by a small margin, but they'll also win this one by a small margin because it's at home. You feel like Villa are a really good team this season, and Newcastle have been a really poor team this season. So I'll say 2-1 to the Villains with goals from Jack Grealish and then an equaliser for Newcastle scored by the very good midfielder. He goes by the name of Matty Longstaff. He's a up and coming talent. But the winner for Villa comes from El Ghazi. That wraps up my predictions for match day number 19. It's been a long one, but it's been a good one, I'm sure. So smash that like button, subscribe for more content, and just to wrap things up, of course, just to mention another team that... sorry, what am I on about? Another team. No, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I was just checking that I hadn't missed anything out. No, I think that's it. We said the leaderboard. We said the updated predictions league. So that is wrapping things up. And as I said, get your predictions down in the comment section below. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Take me back to London and let's see some matches in this game week of Premier League action. Bye bye.